This will serve as the video tutorial for the Be the Teacher Geometry Area Project Choice Board. So the purpose of the project is for you to demonstrate your understanding, mastery in the subject area of area, specifically composite area and surface area. So the activities are designed to demonstrate, if you were a teacher, how well you understand the material and if you can teach someone how to solve area problems. The topics specific to composite area were regular shapes, and regular shapes, if you recall, that included all of your shapes that are hexagons, octagons, decagons, and so forth. Irregular shapes are going to be shapes that are not regular shapes, not regular polygons. And then specifically L shapes, that was a type of irregular shape. And then shaded region, if you recall, those are your areas where you might be missing a section. It's unshaded, okay? So that's where we employed subtraction when we're doing composite area. For surface area, those are for your three-dimensional shapes, and we went over 3 techniques. We used nets, similar to what you see here. We added the areas of the faces, and then we also had the formulas. So here's our choice board. So you're going to choose 2 activities, one from each column. One from the red column, which covers the topic of composite area, and one from the blue column, that covers surface area. From composite area, you can design a page from a math book, create a quiz and answer key, or design a cheat sheet. From surface area, you can make a Google slideshow, you can create a video presentation, or you can write or perform a math rap or rhyme. So we're going to go over in detail what each of these activities, what each of these choices would look like. So for a page from a math book, this is for a composite area. Think about what a math book looks like, and you have a picture of it right here. So you see that it has an example, it's colorful, and it's detailed. Okay, make sure that you're really detailed when you're explaining how to solve the example problem. If you're creating a quiz, the quiz has to consist of 6 total problems, 5 regular problems, if you will, and 1 word problem. So the word problem has to describe a situation. It has to have a shape that maybe you would find in the real world, in real life. Okay? Just as an example, when we went over, you can go over a floor, you can go over a table, something that is a regular shape. You could also create an L-shaped garden outside, something along those lines. So your problem should range from easy to very challenging. And the idea there is don't make them all the same. Obviously, the very challenging one could be your word problem, or not. Maybe your word problem is kind of easy because word problems are difficult to begin with. And then maybe the very challenging, you're going to create a composite shape, an irregular shape that's a combination of difficult shapes, or maybe even you have shaded region and the missing section's a little more complicated. So that's totally up to you. Use your creative skills, but it needs to be a total of 6 problems, 5 regular problems where you're just given the dimensions, and then 1 word problem. The cheat sheet. You were not given a cheat sheet for the composite area. However, you were given the area formulas cheat sheet. So you can use that. That can be a starting point for creating your cheat sheet for composite area. Okay, make sure that you include explanations of what the variables are representing. Make sure you include drawings. Those are always helpful to make it visual. And then you could include examples, but be mindful of how much space that's going to take up. As far as space, you can make the cheat sheet index card size if you want to make it more along the lines of what you would use in my class for a quiz or a test. Or you can use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, or anything in between. Okay, the idea isn't necessarily what the size is going to be, it's just that you're creating this nice cheat sheet to be used. For surface area, you can create a Google slideshow. The slideshow needs to be at least 5 slides long. It has to include a title slide so we know what it is that we're about to see a slideshow on. You have to include an example, and you may need to include more than one, so wherever it's appropriate, you should include an example. And your explanations and examples have to be easy to understand, and make sure you include all the necessary steps to solve for surface area. Similar to the slideshow presentation would be a video presentation. So if you want to kind of bring that slideshow to life, you can use that. You can record audio over it. The other thing you can do is just take a recording of you working with things like manipulatives, 3D objects, nets, posters, drawings, if you have a whiteboard, chalkboard, anything you want to use. Okay, the video has to be a minimum of 2 minutes long, and it has to be approximately 2 minutes. Minute 59 seconds is fine. Minute 30 seconds is not. And it has to convey the message of how to calculate the surface area of a three-dimensional object. Be careful not to make it just a social video. And then the last type of activity you can perform for surface area would be a rap or a rhyme. And really the only difference is the rap or rhyme has to have some type of a rhythmic sound. It should be enjoyable and appropriate. And it has to convey that message and understanding of how to solve a surface area problem after listening to it. You're probably going to want to include an example in it just so you can walk a person through the steps. Okay? If you would like, you could either write down or type out your rap or rhyme, or you can actually perform it and record that. So now the scoring, it's going to be 2 choices, 15 points per choice for a total of 30 points. What you will be scored on is clarity, neatness, accuracy, rigor, and the expectations that we just went over. Now, resources you can use. I've posted a lot of information on Google Classroom, videos, notes, practices with answer keys, the cheat sheets I mentioned earlier, other notes pages. So there is a lot of information available to you. So just go back, look through, and also use your yellow folders that you should have been populating with anything you're printing out. If you've done that, you should not take very long to complete this project. Also to help you, you have your online book. Your online book has videos. It has examples and practice. It also has quizzes and tests. So that online book, if you have access to it, if you still remember how to access it, it can provide you a lot of assistance. And then, of course, use the internet. Okay, there's still a lot of resources out there, as you saw over the time that you were in virtual learning. I did use videos from other sources, YouTube and things like that. So you can use the internet to help guide you. Now, the ways to submit, you have to attach the work in Google Classroom. You can't just check off that it's turned in. So this is a little different. You have to actually attach the work so that I can review it. If you're having difficulty attaching work in Google Classroom, then send or share it using email. Now, if you've done it on paper, what you're going to, in other words, if you've done it on a notebook or a piece of paper or poster or something along those lines, what you need to do is either scan it, take pictures, or record video, depending on the activity that you performed, and then send that using Google Classroom or email. All right, for those that aren't familiar, there are a lot of scanning apps that are available, free, obviously. And even for those that have iPhones, and I'm sure the other smartphones have similar apps, you can actually scan it using the Notes app, which again is included, it's free with the phone. Okay. The due date is next Friday, June 5th, by the end of the day. So not at 8 a.m., at the end of the day on Friday, June 5th. So that's your guide. So now go work on your project and work on it immediately. Don't wait till the last minute.